Welcome back to Wellness with Delaney. I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys today, and we have a very special guest. This is Paige Lindgren, the author of Sync and Savor, a cycle syncing cookbook. Yes, women, I know you've been asking a lot about cycle syncing, so I'm really excited for this topic today. She's also a hormone specialist, a holistic nutritionist, and a Pilates instructor. So lots to talk about today. Paige, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Likewise, I'm so excited. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your book.
Yeah, my cookbook, Sync and Savor, it comes out April 14th. So
Wow.
who knows when this episode comes out? It might be out, probably will be out by then. But it's a cookbook with 85 plus recipes, but recipes for each phase of your cycle. So I worked with an OBGYN and she explained in the book everything that's going on hormonally for the 4 phases in a cycle, gave nutrition advice, and then I tailored breakfast, lunch, and dinner recipes to that nutritional advice for each phase. So it's very different than any cookbook out there, and it's very fun, and I'm really excited for women to learn more about their bodies and hormones through it.
I love this because, I feel like on social media, cycle syncing is getting very viral and popular. And I love to see it, but I also do feel like sometimes when a certain health topic gets a little too viral and trendy, there's so much noise and people, everyone, every influencer, every wellness creator, whatever, has something to add to it. So it's amazing to have experts really break it down and simplify and like, no, this is what you should be cooking. This is what you should be eating. This is why. So I think that's beautiful. So what led you to write this book? I know you have a bit of a story yourself.
Yeah, I do. I have an autoimmune disease, and since I was 9, I have a thyroid condition, and ever since I started my period when I was 13, that autoimmune disease really affected all my cycles. So I struggled with my hormone health, honestly, from like 13 to 23, and I'm 27 now. And so I've only felt really good for a few years hormonally, and I owe it all to working with a great doctor who explained the hormonal phases to me, who explained the little tweaks I can be doing for my lifestyle every single day. I mean, I have felt like I tried everything extreme before, and it really was like dialing things back, doing less, supporting my body more, that just made everything click. So I also thought it was so interesting. I always was pretty healthy, or doing things that were healthy, and I didn't know what was happening with our body every month. I'm like, how do I not know? Our hormones are changing this month. They didn't teach this in health class. And I feel like this is something everyone should know. This is our bodies. We should know. So yeah, once I started feeling better, being like, my friends are struggling, everyone's struggling, no one knows this information. That's when I got my nutritionist degree. And then the whole concept of this kind of started. And yeah.
I love that. I love that your story and your struggle and kind of how you've overcome that has turned into a whole passion. I feel like we see that so much with people who just are so on fire, and I love to hear it. So I guess really for a lot of people though, some people might not even know the cycle and like what a basic overview of cycle syncing actually looks like. Can you give me like a really brief breakdown of the menstrual cycle, what that looks like, how people might feel in each phase of their cycle?
Yeah. I love talking about this because with the tips that I have for each phase, it does not need to be extreme. Just like what you were saying a little bit earlier with different things on social media and influencers and completely changing their lives around to fit their phase to feel, you don't need to do that to feel good. It's seriously these little swaps that make the big difference. So you have 4 phases. You have your menstrual phase, which everyone knows. After your menstrual phase, which is the day you're done bleeding, your follicular phase starts. Then it goes to ovulatory phase, which more people know, and then luteal phase, which also a lot of people are now. Luteal phase, everyone used to just call it PMS. Everyone's now luteal phase. So those are the 4 phases. Or hormones, it's so interesting. There's a graph and I can send it to you. But if you look at the span of 28 days and estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, it literally is just this roller coaster. So when your hormones are going high and low, of course, you're going to feel different. So in our menstrual phase, it starts out low. Luteal phase, well, we'll get to luteal phase, but luteal phase is when hormones, estrogen and progesterone are dropping. Those are our female hormones. They're responsible for energy, mood, focus, libido, I mean, really everything. Hormones are like so great, but they drop at the end of your luteal phase into your early menstrual phase. So that's why at the beginning of your period, you're feeling a little more low energy. But as the few days go on, you're building up and feeling good again. Your hormones are rising. In your follicular phase, ovulatory phase, those are after your period is done, your hormones are peaking. That's when they're going to be their highest. That's when you're usually feeling your best. That's usually like that 1 week where you're like, oh, I feel normal again. Like I felt crazy last week and I feel good. That's meaning you're most likely in your follicular ovulatory phase, one of the two, just because your hormones like are finally peaking, and estrogen gives you that confidence. Progesterone is what like calms stress. Like they're just such great hormones when they're balanced. Ovulation is also when you're most fertile or when you are fertile. So everything's peaking around that time. And then after ovulation, your luteal phase begins. That's the longest phase. It's like 2 weeks. And slowly your hormones are going to be dropping. So beginning of luteal phase, you're probably feeling fine. It's the end when everyone's like, oh, I'm dragging. I have no motivation. I'm tired. I have cramps. That is due to the quick drop in hormones. And then it repeats.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that how you explained it. It's really simple because I think some people still don't quite understand. And I always say, like, if you're not sure where you are, like, I'm a big fan of tracking. Well, when I had a cycle, it tracked for years, and I'll start tracking when it comes back. Do you track your cycle? And if so, what do you use?
I use natural cycles. I have an Aura ring, and it's great because it also tests your temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's just such a great, accurate way. But I also have the Flow app, and that's before I had the Aura ring. I was just tracking, like, put it on the Flow app when I have it, and it would give predictions of, like, most likely if they've been, like, following your cycle for a year, they can tell you pretty accurately what phase you're in.
Yeah, it's honestly so nice. I love having that data because I feel like before I tracked, I would feel crazy, right? Like, why do I feel so bad some days? Why do I not look so snatched? Like all this. And then when you can see the data, it really does help you like not gaslight yourself.
That was
And
the biggest thing for me. Yes. I feel like so much of it, like in high school specifically, I'm like, I think I have like a mental problem. Like I was
yeah,
so lucky last week, and like I'm depressed. I can barely leave. Like something is not right. Also my hormones like weren't balanced, but it really was just because of this imbalance and not knowing hormones can affect you that much. And totally with like the bloating too. I'd be like, I'm eating everything I ate last week when I felt fine. Why do I not recognize myself in the mirror? And having the data and doing the little swaps, like you're still going to have the fluctuations, and the fluctuations are great. But just like knowing, oh, this is why I'm in the end of my luteal phase. It like you just give yourself like the grace, and you're like, okay, like that's fine. That's what it is. And you don't need to like look so into it and stress about it.
right. You're not like I did. It's like I know I didn't gain 5 pounds overnight. It's just a little retention. We know it's so funny too. Like how I knew. Like I knew I was pregnant because what would have been the end of my luteal phase, I like had a libido. And I was like, and then someone like hit on me. And then I was like, that's weird. Like, this is like my ugly phase. What are you talking about? And then I like with my husband, it's like I had a libido, and he normally calls my luteal phase like my man hating phase. And because he's always like, you hate me by the end of your luteal phase. And I'm like, yeah, you're annoying to me by the end of my luteal phase. That's just biology. But the fact that I was like still down by like the day before I would have gotten my period, I was like, I think I'm pregnant.
And you were.
Yeah, and I
Crazy.
It's crazy when you know your cycle, like your body makes so much more sense to you. So I think also with that, obviously you're mentioning there are some like little swaps. I think that some people are like, okay, well, you're saying I'm just going to feel good some days and bad some days. And like, no, there are definitely things you can do. So what, breaking down that menstrual cycle, what are some of your favorite like easy lifestyle swaps that people can do to feel their best and just kind of reach their fullest potential for each phase?
Yeah. In your menstrual phase, a huge focus is iron. If you're tired in your menstrual phase, which a lot of people are, we are losing a lot of blood. And iron-rich foods, quality red meat. If you're not eating meat, you can do quality beans. I mean, there's so many sources of iron, but also in your menstrual phase, you really want to be focusing on warming foods. You can eating warming foods, number one, are easier to digest. So if we're kind of struggling with that bloating and cramping, you don't want to add another whole process of like breaking down salads and all the things that we'll get to in the next phase. So warming, like well-cooked foods, sweet potatoes, you want good complex carbs. Carbs are great for energy. They're great at letting your body know it's safe. It's great for your cortisol. It's great for stress, just everything. I love, like, carbs are so important for women and hormones. And the best phase is to focus on the quality, like warming carbs is menstrual and luteal phase. Iron, carbs, good carbs, and like slowing it down a bit. Before I was into living in alignment with my cycle, I was just doing the same workout classes every single day. I was pushing my body so hard, thinking in order to be healthy, I need to like do these HIIT classes every single day, like get strong, walk these amount of steps every single day. And when I'm in my menstrual phase, like I didn't want to. And like listening to that, I have such an easier cycle. I used to have I could not leave my house on my menstrual phase for years. Like I would just be out of commission for 5 days. And now just like stretching, maybe a little bit of like yoga at home, walking in the morning and not pushing my body to work out, I don't feel that way at all anymore. I can just like live a pretty normal life on my period, which is great. So slowing down, your hormones are low, lay low, basically. In your follicular and ovulatory phase, when your hormones are peaking, it can be great for so many people that peak. A lot of women struggle with estrogen dominance, and that's when you're ovulating. You might, like, some people have ovulation cramps. Some people are like, oh, I'm actually puffier when I'm ovulating and just like not feeling great. People who aren't feeling like their best when they're ovulating, because that should be when you're feeling your best, you're likely struggling with estrogen dominance. And a great way to make sure, basically, fiber clears out excess hormones, not the hormones you need. Like it's not going to pull out hormones that your body needs to hold on to, but anything excess, fiber helps pull out, like toxins, mold, just everything, but also hormones. So when your hormones are peaking, adding more fiber in is going to help just that balance of like just having it be a good ratio and just not, I guess, going overboard. If you're already a little high on the estrogen, it's peaking more. So beans, I love chickpeas. I love like quinoa. In the book, there's so many like just like salads with just like throwing different like seeds and beans and nuts and different things. Easy ways to sneak fiber in. I always do like a tablespoon of flax seeds in my smoothies. Your body digests better at that time. So that's when I am focusing on more like the salads, the smoothies. It's pretty, like, once you start kind of living this way, it's going to be really what you crave. And then you don't need to like open a book and be like, okay, wait, so which one's like the warming? Like once you do this for a few months, your body's going to tell you when to eat warming foods, when to eat fiber. You're literally going to crave what your body needs. So that's follicular, ovulatory. Focus on the fiber, focus on the salads. Then you're in your luteal phase where everything kind of begins again. And it's the time to kind of be prep. Okay, also when you're in your follicular ovulatory phase, when your hormones are there, that is the best time to be pushing your body with the workouts. Like you do feel stronger, you do feel more energized. Like take advantage of that and push yourself a little bit more. So that's when I usually do like more of strength training. And if I go on a run, it's then. If I want to take a HIIT class, it's then, or a cycle class. Luteal phase, pretty similar advice to what the menstrual phase is. You're going to want to be introducing the warming foods again, the easy to digest foods again. At the beginning of your luteal phase, your hormones haven't dropped that low yet. So, it's pretty like what you're feeling. If you want to be pushing the workouts, push it. If you're not feeling good, no, it's because your luteal phase is coming. Get the iron going because you're preparing your body to be losing blood. And yeah, I guess I'd say at the beginning of my luteal phase, I'm still doing workout classes. Maybe I'm not like feeling the exact way I did the week before where I'm like jumping up and down. But the last week of my luteal phase is when I definitely do a lot more like walking as my main like source of movement. I love yoga, mat Pilates. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so and I think that one thing that's going to scare a lot of women, because this used to scare me before I really understood hormones and like understood how to optimize them. When some women are going to hear this and be like, so you're saying I get essentially like 2 weeks a month of good workouts? Like, how am I not going to gain weight? you know, because it's like, okay, well, if I'm scaling back for half the month,
Right.
like, how am I not going to lose muscle? How am I not going to gain fat? What would your response be to people who are scared to scale back for maybe up to half the month?
Yeah. That's like the part that like I can't emphasize this enough. When I was working out hard every single day, my cortisol was spiking. I was so inflamed. I
Mhm.
definitely weighed more than I weigh right now doing less workouts. It's so interesting when you focus on hormone balance rather than weight loss, your body does balance out and it becomes a healthy version of you and the weight that it wants you to be. And that could, I mean, we can all have our own opinions on that, but at least for me personally, someone who struggled with hormone health, thyroid, metabolism, the only way that I got to my like healthy, happy weight was literally from doing less, which is crazy. And I wouldn't believe it if you told me that years ago. And it was so scary to even like try that. But in your luteal phase, you're burning 200 more calories a day just at rest because your body is working so much harder. Like your body doesn't just burn X amount of calories every single day. If you're nourishing your luteal phase, your cortisol is also spiking at that time. It's easier to hold on to water. It's easier to hold on to fat. It's easier to be inflamed when your cortisol's high. And if you're not managing the stress in your menstrual and luteal phase when the cortisol is irregular, you're just going to be holding on to more. So really, by doing less and supporting your body more and stretching more and just like not, you can still be like lifting weights like if you want. If you love the gym, like don't be scared of the gym during those phases. It's just not really the time to be running yourself to the ground and putting your body under more stress and
Mhm.
lifting heavier and pushing your body that way. Maybe you do lighter weights, maybe you make it a 25-minute workout rather than your normal hour. Like find ways that feel good to you. But really surprisingly, like to anyone listening to this who's scared to scale back, you can always like get back to it. If that way of living, you don't love it, like this is the advice my doctor gave me. He's like, I know this is so scary, but for like 2 months, like please just try doing less. If you don't like how it feels or like you don't like how you look or whatever, you can go back to your normal way. But once I scaled back and I felt good and the inflammation fell off, I'm like, oh, like this is great. This isn't that scary.
Yeah. And I'm sure you being in the fitness world too, you've seen this. I know for me, like because I had several years of being really in the fitness world as far as like being an instructor, but even now just being in the wellness world, I'm constantly exposed to all the fitness girls. And it hurts my heart because I do feel like on the other end of the aisle, this like push, 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 it's all about output. I see a lot of women, especially in like the CrossFit world, like the fitness world, who struggle with like a lot of hormonal acne. Like that's a big one, a lot of acne, puffiness. Sometimes they don't have excess abdominal weight, but a lot of times they are carrying a lot of abdominal weight, all these things. And they're like, okay, got to do more, right? And it's like, no,
Right.
the answer isn't always more workouts, more actives, more restriction, like more skincare. Like sometimes
Mhm.
the answer is, and it's like, I think it comes down to the fact that women are not little men. And that is what we have been taught for years, right? For generations. And it finally, like, I'm so happy to know that like my daughter will be raised in a world where we actually are kind of starting to understand like women's bodies.
Yeah.
So also with calories. So I know similar to like the exercise topic, there is a big debate that I've been seeing a lot of people being like, your hormones, your thyroid, like all these different things. Like there's a huge hormonal component. I see like Aggie Lyle kind of talking about that. A lot of people in the biohacking world talk about hormonal weight gain is a huge component. And then I see also people in the fitness side being like, no, 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 it's really calories, macros. Like where
Right.
do you stand with the calorie debate when it comes to weight loss?
Yeah. I see so many videos or even like the gym that I used to go to, they're calories in, calories out. Meanwhile, when my thyroid was low, my hormones were not balanced. I mean, I didn't have an appetite. I was not eating a lot and I was working out so hard every day
Mhm.
because I did not recognize myself. I was in a major deficit and I did not lose 1 pound.
Wow.
So I would want to say to those people like, what about this? I'm eating healthy. I'm eating small meals 3 times a day, and I'm working out crazy and walking like 12,000 steps a day, and I'm not losing a pound. I like people who say that. I just think number one, I think it's a lot of men usually because they don't have the hormonal aspects that we do really. They don't struggle with weight as easily as we do. They don't have thyroid issues as many women do. But I know that's controversial. I know a lot of people could be like, no, this is the science, this is the numbers, this is how it goes. But for me, no, I didn't lose the hormonal weight, the thyroid weight until I ate more and until I ate more carbs and until I worked out less. It's just so scary and it's so weird. And I know it doesn't make sense with what we've learned and what people say. And maybe that's not the case for everyone. Some people probably do, like calories in, calories out for some people. But I would say if it's not working for you and you're trying it and it's not working for you, why not try something else and just see? And then also support your hormones better. So many of my friends in the fitness world, they don't have a cycle. And at the age we're at now, it's not really a worry for them. But that's going to be. And it takes a while to get a cycle back and then to get a healthy cycle back. And that's the whole other aspect. Like you could be feeling good, you don't have a cycle, but you don't have a cycle. And I know a cycle is annoying. It's not fun, but it's like a pillar of health and it shows how healthy we are. So much goes into that, but that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, and I think some people are like, "Oh, cool, I lost my period." But it's like, "Yeah, but you also lost ovulation." Like
Mhm.
and ovulation is so important. Can you tell me a little bit about like why ovulation is something that women need to be having for their health?
You need to be ovulating to have a healthy period. You need to be ovulating to have the right amount of progesterone. Progesterone is one of the most amazing hormones. It's what keeps you calm. It helps you sleep at night. It can really help balance. Like you could have a normal amount of estrogen, but just not enough progesterone, and you will still be estrogen dominant. So it's all about like the balance between estrogen and progesterone. And estrogen dominance has all these symptoms of, hormonal acne, of weight gain, of bloating. Low progesterone has like those same symptoms. It's all connected, and you need to be ovulating to be producing the right amount of progesterone. You also you don't produce progesterone if you're under stress and your body's stressed. Like that's the way to have healthy progesterone is like truly the number one tip for people on progesterone is lower your stress. And stress can mean so many things. We can get into that later. But the whole other thing is just like women listening to this. I feel like so many of my followers are like in their early 20s where they're also just like not thinking about babies yet. But with some of my friends who are in the phase that you're in right now, or some followers, they don't realize how long it can take to be getting a cycle back and a good one back. It's like, oh, finally I have a period. That doesn't mean your body truly feels ready to get pregnant. And working on ovulation and your hormone health sooner than later is just going to help the fertility process, the pregnancy process so much by like not just having it be okay. I'm ready. Like, let's just do this now. It's just not how it works. And I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, and it's so sad to see too, because I think a lot of people don't realize like the best time to prepare for fertility is years before. And I wish someone had told me that. I was really blessed and fortunate just being in the industry I am to have so many resources. And I did get pregnant really fast. But I've seen, I mean, there's so many people in my own life, but also on the internet that are struggling that do all the things right now, right? But
Right.
it often takes years to get to that point because your body has to feel safe. And I think that's the thing for fertility, like it's going to be so much harder to bring a baby into the world if your body doesn't feel like it's safe and has the resources. And in order to do that, like you have to create that environment internally. And I don't think people think about that. It's like, oh, now I'm ready to try. So I'm going to do all these things and take a prenatal. And it's like, okay, but let's start talking about this sooner. Like I think we should be talking about this with teenagers even, because fertility, like let's say someone never wants kids. Fertility is a vital sign of health.
Exactly.
And so it's like even if you don't want kids, like you want to know that you're having all those markers. So kind of along this vein, what are some of the biggest food lies outside of the calories in, calories out? Because I think we kind of dispelled that one. But what are
Mhm.
some of the biggest food lies that you're seeing women fall into?
Yeah, the calories and the carb thing. I'm like, let's get so far away from that. Women need carbs and women need calories. This is another controversial one kind of, but I mean, I think a lot of women know that maybe fasting isn't great. There's some people who are like, oh, fast with your cycle or fasting works great for me. I think if you're a fertile woman, fasting really like short term can give you that like adrenaline boost, that like spike because you're living off of these stress hormones that feel good. So you are going to feel good for a bit until it crashes. But knowing what we know about stress and what causes stress, which is under eating, which is blood sugar dysregulation, and fasting can sometimes cause that. Knowing stress lowers our progesterone, which is like the most amazing hormone our body needs to be producing. I really think women shouldn't be fasting. I think that men probably can be. I think that women in menopause probably can be. I think that women with a cycle shouldn't be. So that's one. We need carbs. That's the other. I'd say there's just so much online where it's like, I saw a reel the other day and she was just making, what was it? It was just like, she made like homemade poke or something. And it was like hormone balancing poke. And I'm like, what? Like, that's like just putting hormone balancing in front of anything. And then she's like, oh, because fish has like healthy fats. It's like, okay, yeah. But like, don't put hormone balancing in front of everything. Like, I would never just say, like, I don't know. We got to be careful with the language we're using with some things. And some people now are going to be eating poke thinking like, oh, this is balancing my hormones. When there's like so much more that goes into it.
Yeah.
That stuff like frustrates me personally.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's also like okay, there's so many hormones. Everyone's like hormone balancing, so many hormones, and they're all dominant at different times of the month.
Right.
And there's so many other components, and eating one meal, like, yeah, there are some things like, I don't know about you, and maybe I'll ask you about this too, but like, I love a good like raw carrot salad to like absorb estrogen. There's been times in my life where I seed cycled. I didn't really do that long term personally,
Yeah.
but like so many things I'm like, yeah, this is supportive of this phase of my cycle, but I would never go as far as to say this one thing I'm doing is balancing my hormones. It's a reach. Speaking of though,
Yeah.
are you a fan of seed cycling?
I don't seed cycle. I do think like in the book there's different recipes where like, oh, like at this time, like in follicular ovulation, like we can be upping like the fiber, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And seeds and flax seeds and chia seeds, like they have great fiber. Pumpkin seeds have great zinc. There's times when we need more zinc. I think they definitely can be supportive. I don't think it's going to balance your hormones just doing that. I don't think any food thing alone, truthfully, like in the book, it's not just recipes. It's like all the lifestyle things because unfortunately, I don't think alone food is the key fully to hormone balance. I think so many factors. I think it can be supportive. I do. I just think anytime like it starts anything like starts causing more stress than like not doing it felt, then you're kind of getting like down a little bit of a slippery slope. I feel like there's been certain things at the beginning of my hormone health journey where I just wanted to follow things so accurately. Like I didn't have my seeds or I didn't have like whatever it is. You're putting your body under stress. So doing things when you can is great. And just, it is so easy to throw a handful of pumpkin seeds on your salad that you're already making that night, or a handful in a smoothie you're already making. I don't think it's harmful, but it's not something I fully practice on my own.
No, that totally makes sense. I was kind of in the same boat because my naturopath was like, okay, try this. Backstory. I know a lot of my followers know this, especially with those who've been there for a long time, but I went through like a crazy hormonal journey, like so many women, right? Like I feel like we hear this so much with women on the other end. But it started with birth control, of course. And I was like hardcore vegan, and I got like the most severe acne of my life, like so bad. And I spent thousands of dollars on every treatment, hyperbaric oxygen, facials, chemical peels, like herbs, all these things. And it really came down to getting off of birth control and then adding animal-based proteins back into my diet. And then I did like cycle sync my workouts. And then my skin got so clear. Like it was really just so simple. But I tried
Right.
all these things and I was like, seed cycling, I really wanted to believe that it was like the like end all be all, but it for me personally wasn't. Yeah, it's like I don't think it's harmful, but
Mm-mm.
it's definitely not like what I would do if I wanted to make a major life change. Kind of speaking on that too, because I know for me, a huge thing that really did help with my skin and hormones and like bringing back, because I didn't ovulate for a long time. My progesterone was so low. I didn't ovulate until probably like 6 months before I got pregnant.
Wow.
Actually, it took me years. I for years was doing this lifestyle, but like these hormones, they do build back slowly, right?
I do.
And then that's when I like really got optimized, I would say, and really just was super fertile. But cholesterol and saturated fat, like I stopped fearing those things, and that really helped
Mhm.
me. And it also helped me stay a lot more lean, which sounds crazy to people. I think there's a lot of noise around cholesterol and fat right now. Like from a hormonal standpoint, what are your thoughts?
Fats are literally what build your hormones. If you don't have fats, you're not producing hormones. You need fats. I know there is so much like debate of seed oil, saturated fats, what oils, what's healthy, what doesn't go rancid when you heat it. There's so much noise out there.
Mhm.
I my personal philosophy is just like if it's been around and it's not processed, like I'm gonna eat it. I have eggs every day. Yeah, that's high in cholesterol. Eggs have been around forever.
Yeah.
um, I have beef tallow, I have coconut oil. Those have been around forever. Like I'm looking in my kitchen right now. I I just think any anything that's been around that your grandparents and great grandparents were eating, like if they're eating the fats, I don't think you need to fear it. I think now there's just so many processed like new oils and new ways of there's this like algae oil that was just sent to me. I think it's really cool. It's like a new like cooking oil and I guess it has a high smoke point, but it it's like we can make so many things and I really just think we need fats, we need healthy fats. We as little processed foods as possible. So yes, seed oils are processed. Like just get things from the root. I don't think having seed oils once in a while is gonna mess up your hormones by any means or your health. But I love saturated fats. I love coconut oil. I feel good having a diet pretty rich in fats.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm kind of on the same vein. It's like there's a huge difference between eating fried food every day and cooking something in beef tallow. Because I always feel like those are the things that tell my body, like, you're safe, you have
Mm-hmm.
resources, like, it feels nourishing. And I personally feel my best. And I also just feel like my hottest and prettiest
Me
with these
too.
foods. Yeah. Like you
My
glow.
hair is so much better. I was just like you. I was vegan for a while. I it's just crazy like looking back at photos which I didn't even realize then but like my hair is like this short and like all just fried and my skin was just so dry
Yeah.
and I really think it goes back to well obviously healthy fats are great for your skin but I think another reason is like progesterone and estrogen are great for your skin and these fats build your female hormones which make you I don't know my lips are even bigger like I saw a photo
Hmm.
not that long ago where my hair was so short and my lips were so thin and
Hmm.
I it's all from optimizing my hormones which is crazy.
Yeah, no, literally progesterone is like nature's lip filler. It's
It
crazy.
is. It's
Like I have
crazy.
I have a whole theory about all these things we do as women. Lip filler, French tips, like all these blush, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they or contour, like all of this, which I love makeup, don't get me wrong, but like these are all things we do to mimic healthy hormones. Like long, healthy, strong nails are a sign of a healthy thyroid. Like
Mhm.
full voluptuous lips, progesterone. Like
That's true.
all these things, but we pay as women, we pay to get these things done. It's like, no, you don't need that. You just need to get healthy, girl. And that's my message.
I know. And the hair extensions, you're so
Yes.
right. All the things we're doing, but optimizing our hormones, like it is a natural blush, it is natural lip filler, it is our skin can be so smooth. Like that is so interesting. And so true. I feel like that you should make a TikTok about that.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm like, wait, it's like you get so much hotter when you balance your hormones.
You
Like
do.
when you truly do all the things and like just remove the noise. So, okay, speaking on that, let's say somebody is struggling with acne, and this is something that like I right now am definitely getting a little annoyed by the internet with. It's like I see, and I never like to bash people personally, but I'll just say like this is obviously like a big news one. But you know, like Alex Earl just came out with like an acne line, right?
Mhm.
And we see a lot of people coming out these acne lines, and it's like, oh, this is gonna change my life, especially celebrities who have shared their acne journey. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I feel like we're just what's that? It's like putting the cart before the horse. Is that the saying where it's like, you know, and I just I don't know. I think that when we're constantly like, oh, you have acne, your solution is a million products, like
It's
you
all
kind of
Band-Aid.
yeah,
It's like
like you're
enough.
skipping that. So how
Mhm.
does somebody know, let's say they are struggling with skin issues, like what would be some signs that it might actually be hormonal?
Yeah. I I honestly feel like at least like this is just with my friends in my group. They all like I'm sure you're the exact same in your group where all your friends just come to you for like their health
Yes.
advice.
Oh, of course, yeah.
um, a lot of my friends have gotten off birth control recently, and that's when the acne got triggered. So we
Mhm.
know that like a hormonal aspect is in play just because it happened after the birth control. But with before they came to me, they were going like we put that together because we're like, oh, that makes so much sense. But they immediately went to their dermatologist and got on topicals and different solutions and what's it called, spironolactone.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, that's just like the first resort from anyone you see outside of there. But doesn't it make so much sense? Like you just got off birth control, your hormones are all trying to make new stuff for the first time in years, 10 years for so many of them. Like this should be such the obvious answer as to what's causing your acne. There's also friends of mine who have been on birth control forever, still on birth control, but right now all of a sudden they're starting to break out and have all these symptoms. And I just think our bodies weren't necessarily meant to be on birth control for 10 plus years. And I think you might be at this age or phase where your body's kind of starting to reject it and like, hey, this isn't like you're not supposed to be on this right now. It's your body's way
Right.
of kind of telling you. But I always think instead of before putting a band-aid on, like looking inward first. Like, is your gut health good? Are you having like if your gut health feels good, okay, great. Are you having symptoms of anything else? Are you fatigued? Are you having really bad PMS or cramps? I feel like most women with acne would probably say yes. And then, like, let's try doing little swaps inward or try, like the raw carrot salad you were saying. There's also a supplement called DIM,
Mhm.
that has helped so many of my friends with their acne because it helps clear out that excess estrogen. And again, not saying it's because they have these like the super high estrogen. It's most likely because their progesterone's low, but it's just this imbalance between the two. Um, I just think it's a great starting point. You don't want to be on topicals and medication forever. So like why even like pay the money for that when this could be something you could just like get regulated on your own, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And don't get me started on spironolactone because I've taken it off and on in like high school and college. It is an off-label drug when it
Really?
comes to acne. Yeah, I think it's used for like okay, I might butcher this, so don't come for me. I'm aware that I'm like doing my I have pregnancy brain. I think it's used for like blood pressure or something like that. But then it also has like it's really hard on like your kidneys and liver,
You
like
like
long term.
you pee a lot, right? Like it's just like it
It's
gets out all the excess water, right?
yeah, and it blocks androgens like in the skin. And so it
Okay.
can really help with acne, but it's a short-term drug because it's very like not safe to use, especially off-label long term.
Right.
And they don't tell you that. They're like, "Oh, this is gonna like block the acne. It's awesome." I remember sitting in the dermatologist and he's showing me this thing. He's like, "It's so cool. Like, you see this pore and and it's like, no, this is an off-label drug that they decided to use for acne that like it blocks androgens, but it's doing nothing for your body to address the hormonal root causes. And you're
Mm.
all it does is prolong. Like at some point, if you want to like get this dealt with, at some point you're going to have to address it. And all these things just prolong the day that you actually address the fact that your health is crap, you
Oh,
know?
it's so true. I know. Because you can't I'm assuming you can't be on it when you're pregnant. I'm assuming
No,
you
I
can't
wouldn't
be
think
on it while
so.
you're breastfeeding. So like you're gonna have this wake up call about you're gonna have to get off of it eventually. It's same with birth control. It's a great band-aid. And it is a great solution for a lot of people with like endometriosis. There's different reasons and needs for these. These aren't like never beyond this. There's reasons that people need to be on these drugs. But if you're getting on it for the sole reason of acne or like something, my cramps, or like something that like you don't like, you're gonna, when you get off of it, it's all gonna come back. And those are things that you can address without just like doing a band-aid on it when you're 17, like, or get on it when you really need it for like the pregnancy prevention. Like, what are the years that you need it most, you know? Let's just try not to be on these for as long as possible. Just because you want your skin a little clear or your cramps are a little bad. Like, there's natural things we can do that are going to help actually get the root of that.
Definitely. Yeah. And even with pregnancy, like back to tracking your cycle, when you learn your cycle, you learn what days you can get pregnant. And it's not that many days. And I think that surprises people because we think about chickens laying eggs every day. And it's like, we're not chickens, you know, like we have a shorter window where we can get pregnant. And so that's actually really nice to know. So then kind of like mood and mental health, like how do hormone imbalances affect your overall mood?
Yeah. I talking about progesterone a lot. You know the benefits of it.
Lovely.
But usually in our luteal phase, which is PMS, whenever it's like, oh, I'm just more agitated, or like I'm kind of dealing with some depression, or I'm just like low and down and no motivation, that actually, well, both these hormones, progesterone, we kind of mentioned this, but it's the thing that calms your stress. It also gets lowered if you are stressed, but it's really what helps you sleep. It's what helps keep your cortisol nice and stable. It's just like that calming, great hormone. It's the hormone that like regulates that sense of things. And your estrogen, it's your like lively hormone. It gives you the confidence. It gives you the drive. It gives you the sex drive. It gives you the like you'll just like walk down the street just like feeling more lively when your estrogen is peaking. It's such a great hormone. It gets a bad rep because a lot of people struggle with estrogen dominance, but estrogen is amazing and it makes you feel amazing. But in our luteal phase, when those are dropping, late luteal phase, early menstrual phase, we're not producing those. Like, we need to have those levels drop in order to release the egg. Like, it needs to happen. But that is why. It's because these two amazing hormones are not at the level your body likes them to be. So there are just like little things you can be doing supplement wise. Like, if you are estrogen dominant, like DIM is a great supplement. Low in progesterone, that's where like the carbs really come into play. The sweet potato, the rice, the nourishing carbs help boost progesterone. Magnesium. So those little swaps that you can be doing at the end to just give your body like a little bit of safety and a little bit of estrogen clearance or whatever it is, it makes such a difference. Like, just literally the littlest things. And like I said, you still need to have those fluctuations. There's going to be a day where you're like, motivation's a little bit lower today, but I am starting my period tomorrow. Like, I get it, but it shouldn't control your life where you're like, oh, I can't do anything, you know?
Right. Oh, absolutely. I remember there was definitely a time where I actually think I was like psychotic when my progesterone was like non-existent. I look back and I'm like, oh, she had no chill. Like, it's
None.
crazy.
Not exactly the same. I remember like very recently I told my parents, like, I'm sorry that you guys had to be around during like that phase. I was crazy to you guys. And it's
So funny.
but it's so real, you know? Like, I don't know if this is real at all or not, but I remember in high school hearing like in court cases, like if you're like PMSing, like that kind of can be an excuse for like certain things. I don't know if that's real at all or not, but your hormones truly, they do affect how you handle things and how you feel. And then a week later you look back and you're like, oh, okay, that's why. you know?
Oh, absolutely. No, I've totally been there. And like when I had the IUD, I had the hormonal IUD, that's when my acne got just like horrendous. I was my worst version of myself. Like, truly, I was so impulsive and crazy. And I can't describe it other than like you had to be there. And I'm telling you, and I'm blessed where like I was taking DIM and like had a really awesome like natural health team that kind of helped me through getting off of it. But because I know a lot of people had a different experience, like you were explaining how people get off birth control and then their hormones go crazy. But I remember the day I got my IUD out, I like walked out of the appointment and I felt like a cloud was lifted. I can't explain it other than I was like, oh yeah, I'm myself again.
Wow.
And it was I mean, it was really wild. That's why I'm always like, just like if people don't feel like themselves, I'm like, like we don't realize how much of our personalities and moods and mental health, like
Yeah.
actually are a result of like physiological factors like the hormone cycles in our body. And, not to blame things on that, but like, yeah, blame it on that. It's crazy.
Seriously. Like getting off of that makes sense. You got off of synthetic hormones and you feel yourself again. Like everyone's going to have different experiences, and like I said, some people their acne got worse for a second off of birth control. Then if anything though, it's a great thing because it shows you like birth control just covers everything for a second.
Yeah.
So when you get off, like, oh no, I want to get back on, like my acne was so much better. It's just showing you that you're estrogen dominant or that your progesterone's low. Like it's just showing you, or your testosterone. It's just showing you where to look at. You didn't know where to look at when it was a Band-Aid. Like be grateful for the symptoms. You can regulate it within months after getting off. Like don't be scared of getting off just because the symptoms.
Yeah.
Like that's the easy part,
Absolutely. Yeah. Because your body's going to finally give you that feedback that it's been like
Mhm.
holding back for all this time. Okay. So I want to chat a little bit more about your book too. So you said it comes out April 14th, correct?
Yes.
That's so exciting. Would you mind telling me what are some of your favorite recipes in the book that people can look out for?
So I'd say 95% of the recipes in there are new, never posted recipes. But I have one famous sweet potato brownie recipe that like everyone just on social loves. I've been making it since I was 21 and I lost my period for a while. And I remember when I got my period back, that was the first recipe I made and experimented with, and it turned out amazing. That recipe is in the cookbook, and that is just like a fan favorite. Like everybody, there's not one person I know who doesn't love the sweet potato brownies, and it makes you excited to be in your luteal phase because you're like, yes, I can eat these brownies, and you can eat them anytime. But that one I feel like just always gets the most love. But I wish I had it right here and I could show you, but it's in my car. But there's so many, every recipe in here, my recipe philosophy in general is like, I'm not a huge cook. I really like, if it means a lot of cleanup or a lot of time or like a lot of groceries, I'm just not going to make it. So they're all very simple, like a lot of sheet pan meals in there, a lot of like one pot meals in there. So those are my favorite, just like different ways to do a sheet pan and not get bored of it. They're pretty similar to my recipe philosophy on my page, except there's like additions. So like, yes, this is a pretty basic recipe, but I added a Greek yogurt, cilantro, lime, crema. Like there's just like a fun element that you can add to make every recipe like not boring. But yeah, most are like 30 minutes or less, very minimal cleanup. Because that's just, I couldn't make a book with 85 plus recipes if it meant like, it had to be very real to me. And yeah, they're simple, but I'd say the salmon sheet pan with the miso dressing. I really like dived into like dressing and sauces because that's not something I usually do on my page. And I wanted something to be more special in this book. So I think like the miso ginger dressing is so good when I put it on that. I have a pumpkin seed pesto recipe in there that's so good on salmon and different recipes throughout the book. And then, yeah, so many like sweet treats because I need a sweet treat every day and like easy, healthy sweet treats.
Oh, that sounds so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so on the sweet potato brownie train right now. I wonder because there's one I've been making. I don't even know what maybe it's yours. But I've been doing it to try to like up my calories for third trimester because I'm like, it's so hard when you're little to actually eat more. And so it's so good. No, everything sounds amazing. And I love that you keep it simple. I'm the same way where like I'll see a recipe that looks amazing, and if I open it and it's like 20 ingredients and all these like fringe things, I'm like, it's intimidating. I don't have time. I don't want to go to the store to get this ingredient. Like, I'm not going to make it. It needs to be like simple but healthy and delicious. So I'm totally the same way. And I feel like for a lot of the busy ladies out there, this is so much better. Like, who has time, unless you literally are a full-time like food blogger, who has time to make these like really intense recipes? I know not me. As much as I wish I like did, I don't.
Literally, that's basically my full-time job and I don't even have the time for it.
Valid. Yeah.
I just think I'd rather people make the food and not be overwhelmed, and I get overwhelmed so easily by a lot. And the thing that changed my life and my hormones was simplifying things. So needed that book to be true to that. But they're also like so yummy, and it's just different ways to eat your basic recipes and like make them fun and not get sick of it.
I love that so much. And like, hey, you're taking the stress out of the cooking, which progesterone stress, we've already covered that. Covered that one today. So no, that's amazing. Where are people going to be able to buy your book when it's out?
It's going to be in a lot of stores. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Penguin Random House website, Target website. Might have just said that. And then it is going to be in select bookstores. I hope most bookstores, but I don't have the exact list. But basically any online book platform and Amazon, you can get it and pre-order it now too. By the time it's out, it'll be out though.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, I definitely want to dive into this. That's amazing, especially for like when I get my cycle back. But even not, like I feel like the recipes sound yummy and
You should just eat them. That's the other thing.
yeah,
Like my dad was my recipe tester for all of these. Like it's not
love
going to
this.
give you a cycle. My mom's menopausal. She ate all these. Like at the end of the day, they're just like healthy blood sugar balance, like yummy meals that
Yeah.
can't split your hormones if you're have a cycle.
Exactly. So don't let your boyfriends and husbands be fooled,
Yeah,
ladies.
don't be scared.
Like you guys can enjoy these meals together for sure.
Mhm.
So I always love to ask everyone who comes on the show at the end, what is your biggest health goal right now?
Biggest health goal, I think it's to I think it's more like a mental like slowdown. Like I just got a brick, the brick
Yeah.
like blocks you from using your phone so much.
So cool.
My biggest health goal is to honestly like be like meditate more and just like be more mindful and not be on my phone so much. I just, like we said, with the stress, with the nervous system, I think all the screens we're all on every day play such a role in how we feel, and we're not putting that piece together when we're like looking at the big picture. So I really want to be not so addicted to my phone, and I'm doing all the different things like journaling in the morning, my phone's locked on social media until 10 a.m. Just the different things to hopefully, not like help my nervous system by not being on screen so much.
I love that. What a great goal. And I think something a lot of people can resonate with in this day and age. It is getting harder and harder. It's so frustrating. I feel like there's an app for everything, even like everything's trying to get you on your device. And it's so hard to disconnect. So honestly, like really good for you. I think once you build those habits, it's like it can only benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazing. Well, I love this chat. I feel like I could talk about hormones and cycle syncing and like women's wellness for ages. And obviously, you too. Like, it's such an interesting topic that I'm so happy to see popularized. But like, I really am so glad that we can get some myth busting information out there. And ladies, if you're listening, make sure to grab Sync and Savor. And men, grab it for your ladies or grab it for yourself if you're looking for some low stress, weeknight healthy meals that everyone can enjoy. Paige, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. That was so fun.
I had such a good time. Well, you guys, once again, thank you so much for listening. As always, we will chat soon, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.